from the fact that we would have our next cream of the crop of riders. This is brought to us by Blacktop Brown, and a special hi to Underground Brown, Tony and the team for getting behind this event. You are absolutely fantastic. Yes indeed, blacktopbrown.co.nz for all of your specialists in asphalt and chipping. And there we go, away to a good start. David Hall pulling a very nice wheelie there to get off the line, but will he be able to hold on to Avalon Biddle? Because yes indeed, our super lady, who of course now calls Christchurch home, has got away to a beautiful start and looks to lead them as they head into Flexoplas for this opening lap of racing for our 2018 championships. And joining us, Spider Staples. And first of all, afternoon, Spider. What does it feel like to be back at Ruapuna? Isn't it great?
Well, I spent 7.
Oh, microphone's not up there. Bring it down, matey. There we go.
Sorry, folks. Just tuning in the gear. I spent 17 days at racetracks in December, then been down to Nelson Road races and that, and it's great to come back to a track, particularly one that you can see the whole lot. Now, of those 17 days, it was levels, it was Manfield and Taupo. Manfield, as you can see, the whole lot, but Ruapuna is always a treat. And of course, we've got the New Zealand Superbike Championships at the moment. Right now, Avalon Biddle out there in the front, followed by David Hall. It's about 3 to 4 bike lengths, and those two beautiful Underground Brown Triumphs there in second. David has a big moment with his front end there coming out of the Christchurch Casino Carousel, and well, he's always a hard charger. Always seems to struggle more than anyone else in that first lap, just pushing it a little bit more. I don't know whether his tyre temperatures aren't up to it, or he's just pushing it that envelope just that little bit more. But David Hall in second place, the MGF yellow Kawasaki with Avalon Biddle in first place, and then we've got the two Triumphs here, the third and fourth, and I think that's Toby Summers on the Carl Cox Motorsport machine, the Kawasaki there in fifth as they come onto the straight for the first of 10 laps here.
And here we go, an opportunity to update. David Hall's got the front of this stage ahead of Avalon. As then we go to Jake Lewis and Frying. Good form there in the update. Feels this is where what we call our Supersport 600 lineup. Second group to take them through as we see effectively about 7 or 8 riders in that front field, and then going back to the others. So in fact it was James Hugenbosom in front of Jake Lewis. So I just want to clarify that one. So the Underground Brown team had them round the other way. So well done to James Hugenbosom family here today. Fantastic qualifying from them, including Al, of course, getting that creme de la creme #1 spot. That was fantastic news for our superbikes. But back to brother James, who's holding a very good third. And yes, you can pick up the distinctive Underground Brown orange colours as they come through and tracking on Avalon. But David Hall, as you pick up, Spider, doesn't necessarily always have the best of first laps. But before the end of this first lap, he had sneaked into the front of Avalon. And unlike Avalon, who was only with us for the first 2 rounds of the Suzuki Series at Taupo and Manfield, missed out on Wanganui. David Hall's had the momentum of all of those 3 events and rocking straight here. But as a North Islander, he's fitted right at home here at Ruapuna.
Definitely, and I'll tell you what, one of the bonuses with those 2 Underground Brown Triumphs there in third and fourth, we've got James Hugenbosom and Jake Lewis. They are locals, so they know every little wee millimetre of this track, and absolutely on fire. But look how tight the pack is there. We've got Suzuki, Kawasaki, Triumph, and then Kawasaki, and who's that there in 5th place? I think that's Rogan Chandler, 15, yeah, Yamaha. Yep. So, yeah, Toby's in 5th place, and Rogan Chandler. Rogan had a crash coming out of the dipper this morning, and he's lost a bit of bark off himself, and they had to get the bike repaired. But here we go, as it changed position to second place there. Neil Ritchie,
no, not yet. And although James is looking to try and wedge his way through, or has he made it stick? Could have. Hard to know. Look for the bright colours. We might see it at this stage as they go through the corner. No, see, not to make it stick. So well done. Where's all the ladies out there to support Avalon? Is fantastic. Courtesy of MGF, of course, Finance, Kawasaki, New Zealand, Aussie Performance. Special hi to Chris from Aussie Performance, Spectrum Motorcycles, Carl Scott, Higher Sun Cup, NGK Sparkplug, CRC, Motul, Predictor Insurance, Pirelli, RST, Nationwide, City Boots, Deep Web Design, Rhino Power, Race Supplies, NZ. And the change, Spider.
A change of position there, up there in the out of the hairpin, or into the hairpin. It was James Hugenbosom went up on the inside of Avalon Biddle, made it stick. And I'll tell you what, mate, she's got this that pothole corner sorted out. The Icon, I think, the new corner, Icon. It used to be called Pothole. I would say on this track here, that will be the toughest corner. It really takes a big brave set of whatever. Well, obviously not whatever with Avalon there, our fine lady in the motorcycle racing, but it's the toughest corner. It's a make or break corner at this track, as there's a lot of them, but I reckon that's the hardest one. But we're going in towards a dipper at the moment. Te Awamuru's 34, David Hall, followed by James Hogan-Boozum on the 85 machine, Avalon Biddle 21. Then we go to Jake Lewis there on 29, and Toby Summers. Don't discount him there in 5th place on the 22 machine. Followed in behind him, and that is Rogan Chandler on the Yamaha.
Well, maybe it's a slipstream spider. It's going to have to be some kind of X factor, because I tell you what, there's nothing to separate this field. This is the exact kind of championship that we wanted this year, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, as we look to unleash the hotshot pace of our locals out there, and flying good entertainment and excitement. That is going absolutely brilliantly at this stage. So a big congrats out there. So David, James, Avalon and Jake in there, to Toby Summers, Rogan Chandler. Ashton Hughes, by the way, the rider in 7th place. Now, we talked before about 7 or 8 riders. If you count through there at the moment, there is a definite 6. Then there's a gap. There's a very lonely rider. Well, that's Ashton Hughes. Ashton is of origins from Greymouth. In fact, he still calls it home, which is great, but he spends time up in the North Island as well, and that's where he's been working of late, as I understood it. So we'll call him sort of a half North Islander and a half South Islander, but a man who's been a late starter to competitive road racing. In fact, has not had too many. I think this is only his 2nd year from memory of national Supersport road racing. So give that man a break, as they'll say, and I'm sure he'll join that pack of 6 riders up there. Isn't it fantastic? Through the Christchurch Casino Carousel for this opening race, and we're on fire here at the moment, and a great run as we see the excitement go out there. 1, 2, 3. Hall's gone back to 3rd at the moment, so David Hall drops back, and look at the pace made there by James Hogan-Boozum at the moment. I picked them up. The bikes are identical. Look for the colour of the helmet, and it's the red helmet of Jake Lewis who's back there in 2nd place. So James Hogan-Boozum on the flatter coloured helmet. He's moved up. There's David Hall under pressure now from Avalon. Remembering those two have had their race, so the Triumph's making their mark. Now, this is something as well, a spider we wanted to see. We'd seen the Japanese marks making their advantage. The 675 Triumph Triple, it seemed like it was a disadvantage. No longer. These bikes are very competitive with our Japanese machines.
Oh yes, definitely. Looking at the lap times, I don't know, David Hall must have made some sort of mistake to lose 2 places there, but the lap times are getting lower and lower and lower. We are a couple of seconds off the lap record, and that's all about the cold track and more about the wind out there on the track. Hey, hats off to David Hall. This is a 6-year-old bike, I think, 7-year-old, actually 7-year-old bike now. Wow. 2018. This is an it's a 2011 bike. How does that sound?
That's better spider, we understand that, know exactly where you're coming from. Hey, courtesy of Blacktop Brown, small sealing specialist covering all of Canterbury. That's your asphalt chip seal, bandaging, potholes, trenches, new and repaired driveways. This is something specialist all in its own. It's all about making that little point of difference, so neat to see. So it's called blacktopbrown.co.nz on 03 323 4000. Well done to Blacktop Brown getting it behind our road racing. Special welcome to Tony and the team. Nice to have them on board, and they'll be joining us, of course, for the VIP stand here tomorrow as well, so hopefully to give them the best seat in the house. And that's after all why you want to be a great sponsor, when you can watch racing unfold like this. And how good is that? Looking at Jake to close right and down. Oh, Toby's bounced. He's got one. He's got Avalon. He's moved up. He got it. So Toby Summers, he's moved into 4th place. There we go. The Underground Brown Triumphs out in front of the stage. There's the advantage. David Hall back to Toby. He's got Avalon. She's gone back one. And look out, Rogan Chandler breathing right down their tail as well. Super close and exciting. Spider Stables.
You know, I think Avalon had that for a little bit there, but it is hard to keep an eye on all the bikes. But Avalon made a huge dive up there, coming out of the, I'm trying to recognise these corners, the IndyCar, the Southern Salvage corner there. But Toby shut the door. Just great riding from Avalon Biddle there as well, and she's yet to have a podium in the 600, but I tell you what, she's not far off, and an early leader here for the 10 lapper. 5 laps to go. 5 laps, we're halfway through the race. I don't think tyre degradation will be any sort of an issue at the moment, unless somebody's gone out there with wrong tyre pressures and that sort of thing. So not at the moment, but maybe tomorrow in the big New Zealand GP races, which also points races, over to the head. But it is still James Hogan-Boozum in the front with Jacob Lewis there in 2nd place. Jake Lewis, actually. David Hall 3rd, 22. Toby Summers, 21, is Avalon Biddle. And then we go back to number 15, who's not far behind that pack, and that's Rogan Chandler. So 4 different brands there out the front there.
Hey, what about the credit for Rogan Chandler at the back of that awesome group of 6 riders up there, Spider? Remembering this time last year, he had only turned up here as a spectator and happened to have brought his gear. You managed to find a bike for him to go and have a race. He hadn't even struck the big lead yet. This is what he's done in less than 6 months. How incredible a journey has that been, Rogan Chandler, thanks to you.
Yeah, well, there it is. Avalon Biddle, does she make it stick there, the same corner? She tries up there. She's got the drive out of the corner. They're both matching Kawasaki 600s. And I'm talking about her and 22, Toby Summers. But she gets the drive out there. But Toby goes in and has the wider line there. So no chance at the moment. And she is still posted in the 5th place, I think. And right behind her is Rogan Chandler on the Yamaha in his first season on the 600. Former New Zealand 125 champion from about 2 or 3 seasons ago. Very clever man on a bike, on a classic bike. As is David Hall. David Hall, I've seen him wheelie a 1970 350 Honda at Manfield as well. He'll race a Norton round Whanganui. He's had wins round there. So very incredible talent. Don't forget too, folks, we've got the Supersport B6 600B class out there. We've got Hayden Scorrens, Tom Langridge, Daryl Graham, Simon Perry, Richard Lockies, Jeremy Cordegas, Dale Finch, Dennis O'Connor and Philip Dittmer in there as well. Who is the first of those? I think it might be Daryl Grayson there in 9th spot, Neil Ritchie.
Yeah, that's great to see. So the B class for those folks are those that have got maybe arguably an older model bike or less budget to prepare the bike, and also for the fact that they only regard themselves as a less of a championship rider. So effectively it becomes a support class within the 600s, which I think is great, because otherwise these guys would not be saying, well, I'm not going to go and ride amongst the best in New Zealand. I'm still on a pathway to get there, and they can do that by being in this Supersport 600B. So fabulous to see. So here we go, New Zealand Supersport 600 Championship brought to us by Blacktop Brown, and looking in there for the run. We're trying to, there's a few other gaps we want to look back to, and other riders like in there, of course, Jacob Stroud, also to look out for Peter Alliston and Nathan Jane, and just seeing where they're actually going to drop into. Nathan, I don't think he's there.
Nathan, he's walking around with a broken hand, suffered a few weeks ago, so out of action.
Bad luck there indeed. So then just looking at that gap, and that's part of the reason, Spider, why I think we've almost got that distinctive gap, haven't we? And it's actually their race within the class is actually a great group. They're heading in towards the carousel at the moment. There's 3 of them all tied up in a great run. So there we go, back with our Underground Brown, trying 675s and flying good form out there as we watch it for James Hugenboozem on the Budget Motorcycle Spares Underground Brown, Metzger Buildings, along with Pirelli, Revit, City, Nitron Race Supplies, HPE and GB Racing. And speaking about those sponsors, of course, some of them are on board as our own sponsors as well, like for example Nationwide, the home of Pirelli tyres. They've come on board as a corporate sponsor and bringing us the CTAS Live. So CTAS Live taking coverage all around the country, so nice to see. So welcome everybody. If you're watching this via an audio, or if you're lucky enough to have the video, CTAS Live, and a moment there that we can watch and being picked up brilliantly on CTAS there at this stage. In fact, all of a sudden on that occasion, David Hall looked to have tried to push the advantage, but couldn't quite get there, and that's then gone to Avalon, and then look at that back in there as well to the flying Toby Summers. So look out for Carl Cox Motorsport in it.
Well, those guys are coming up the 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th, coming around the big carousel. About a lap ago, Toby Summers got into 3rd position, and then somewhere along the line, David Hall got back up right there, but he had a big moment in that hairpin over the back of the circuit, so that's relegated him back to 6th place. But Toby Summers got a bit of a break there, but it looks like he's been reeled in by Rogan Chandler. So Rogan Chandler was in 7th place, now he's up to 4th. Still the 2 beautiful Underground Brown Triumph bikes out in the front there. The 85 machine of James Hugenboozem and Jake Lewis on the 29 machine. Now, in terms of lap times, James Hugenboozem, a 1:33.08 through. I think it's a 1:33.04 here for Jake Lewis. Our timing screen changes over, so that information has disappeared briefly. Let's look out on the track. A battle down the front straight between the Kawasaki number 22 and the 15 Yamaha there. Rogan Chandler on the 15 takes it up onto turn 1 here at Ruapuna for the first race of the first round of the New Zealand Superbike Championships 2018. Legendary racing out there.
Well, fantastic to see in those triumphs, showing that when you put good pilots on great bikes, you can make winners, and that's exactly what the Underground Brown Budget Motorcycle Spares team are doing at this stage. 1, 2, about a second gap between those. Nothing on there. Oh, look at the dicing going on. The next one I think might be Toby to get up, and there we go to Rogan. I think nearly had him. Rogan Chandler. Look at that from Rogan. He's having a sniff of Spider. Picked up 7, 6, 5, 4, maybe 3 coming up. 3 coming up. Look for it as they go through Fulton Hogan at the moment, around towards the Christchurch Casino Carousel, and neat to see the fire on for these guys at this stage as we watch that bike battle. First and second, we'll take them as Bolton. The best race going on for that run for 3rd place as we look out for Rogan Chandler. I think he can get to that 3rd place in the end of this one, Spider. I think he's going to do it once he's able to break past Toby. I think he'll stay in front and go all the way to the finish. And a white flag not too far away as well, I get the idea.
He was out in front going through Poto, and Toby Summers unusually, well, I don't know whether it's unusual for him because he does do different lines, but unusually went up around the outside of Rogan Chandler. Normally you come in, you do what's called a block class. You make no room for them. But he went right round the outside. You make the track longer. Rogan nearly come back at him, but you can see this battle coming onto the front straight, round the big Rock FM sweeper, as we see James Hugenboozem going through there on 85. Jake Lewis on number 29, the two. Here we go, down the front straight. 3 bikes here, 22. Bit of slipstreaming going on there. Neil Ritchie, is it going to be Rogan?
Yes, it is. It is Rogan. He's put his wheel in front, but can he stay that way all the way to Flexiplas? Look at Toby looking to try and get back at him by taking that outside line. He can keep greater corner speed up at this stage. No Rogan Chandler there and makes it stick. Well done. In fact, look out for the change. Look out for the change, because here we come with Avalon. Avalon right on the tail there as well. Avalon trying to squeeze up and get Toby back again. So an awesome foursome in view there. 3, 4, 5 and 6 overall in the race field. They come down towards that Euro mark hairpin and a white flag at this stage. So we're on our last one as we look out of the hairpin at the moment. And there it is for Chandler. Go to Toby, then look to Avalon on that MTF Finance, Aussie Performance, Kawasaki, and then looking to David Hall back. And to think that David led this race earlier on, as you picked up Spide, he slipped all of a sudden from a first place to third place as if something was wrong. But I get the idea that whatever it was has actually had some longevity, because he slipped back even further.
Oh, definitely. Oh, well, he should be fit enough. All these people should be fit enough. I know David Hall's a share milker, so works on the farm all day long, but we're on the final few corners here for the first race of the New Zealand Superbike Championship, and the local man, James Hugenboozem, followed by Jake Lewis. Now, when's the last time a non-Japanese bike won a Supersport 600 race in New Zealand? Alex Phillips took the Hampton Downs race last year. That was the Italian bike, but for Triumph, coming onto the front straight, there's going to be no lappers involved. It is going to be James Hugenboozem. He has won here on the Suzuki before in this same class. There it is, a good 130 metres or so to 29, and then we got Rogan Chandler, followed by Toby Summers and Avalon Biddle. In behind him, who's that? That must be a lapper there. That is a lapper. That is Simon Perry on number 59. Simon, I think, will be it. Yes, Simon is in the 600B class. So looking out here comes 83 there. 83 coming through. Our timing screen's going through, just trying to get loose. That's Phil Dittmer from Greymouth, home of Ashton Hughes, who's 92 bike coming across here, the Air Force technician from Bulls.